Alright, so I want to do a little video blog of my week. How to work out with a cut finger. That shit was cut on Saturday. Had to get 5 stitches, had to go to the emergency room. And it was swollen for about 2 or 3 days. I couldn't really lift any weights, at least with upper body. So I squatted. I tried squatting on Monday, and my finger swelled up even more, and it hurt. So I was stuck to doing boring ass cardio for 60 minutes on the treadmill. That's what I did on Monday. So luckily though, a safety squat bar came in that night at the gym. It was a members bar. We were actually just holding it for them. But we got to use it and that thing was fucking bomb. I used it for 3 days in a row. Fucking squatted heavy with it. Felt fucking great. Couldn't have come at a better time. I wanted to talk about what you can do when you're injured. And one of the specific things is how do you work out with a cut or some sort of inflammation. And if you're anything like me and you love lifting weights and you love improving your body and you just like pushing yourself, you can't go a day without exercise sometimes. It's just something you don't want to do. Or you can't go at least, maybe you could take one day off, but anything more than that, just you don't feel right, you don't feel good, you feel out of your element. So you figure out what you can do without hurting yourself. And in my case, it was squats. And probably leg press. This is kind of where machines come in handy because then a lot of the time one of the biggest things, at least a cut in the finger, is having to grip the bar. Because even though you don't really think about this, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but even if you hold the bar just lightly, or even if you hold it like with this finger here, every time this finger flex, especially if I'm holding something really heavy, what will happen is this will want to flex too. And if there's some swelling here, which there was, what ends up happening is I get some flexing and basically more blood flow, which makes it hurt more, causing more inflammation because it's trying to scab up and go back together, of course. So you find things that you can do, typically staying away from upper body at least as long as you can. Probably what I'm going to do today is do a lot of pressing. I'm probably not going to do any pulling because pulling is actually what's going to press on the fingers quite a bit, and the front of the skin is still opened up, even though it's kind of almost completely healed. The stitches are out. So kind of what I've been doing, or what I'm going to do today, or try to do, is I'm going to do some overhead pressing, or do some bench press, maybe some bicep curls, depending on how my finger does, and maybe some tricep extensions. So a lot of pushing stuff. And then maybe I'll do some pulling stuff maybe on Tuesday. Today's Friday. Give my body some time to heal, or I should not even my body. My body can do more. It's just that my freaking finger can't. So it's kind of like I'm in a fucked up position. So just work around your problem as best you can. And sometimes it takes a little bit of motivation, but everyone has obstacles, whether you could be missing a limb. This is just a hurt finger. This is really nothing in the whole scheme of things. It really isn't. And even though I can take a few days off and be fine, it doesn't feel right to me to take days off because I love to train. It's something that I enjoy doing for myself. I feel good when I do it. I'm more productive when I do it. I'm more creative when I do it. Just going 2 days without lifting heavy is freaking demoralizing. So I got my high off lifting, got to lift some heavy weights, feeling accomplished, ready to seize the week and tear some shit up. So again, if you have a cut or you have a swell, work around the pain. Work around it. Don't make the pain worse, but do something, because you can always do something. If you pull your back, you pull your hamstring, it probably makes sense that if you pull your back on hamstring, you probably should stay away from doing some deadlifts and hamstring curls, for example. But that doesn't mean you can't do crunches. That doesn't mean you can't do some bench press, especially if you're not going to do super heavy weight. You don't even want to do heavy weight if you strain a muscle anyway. But your body is designed to move. And you need to allow it to move. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to push it to 100% levels, what you normally train at. You just have to move, because a lot of time, I'm sitting here talking to you on this computer, on this webcam. We're so sedentary. We sit in a car, we drive. You have to move. And none of us go out, most of us at least, don't go out and hunt and kill our food. We grab our food through a window, or we go to a grocery store. And even then, there's very little physical activity. So if you're going to even if you're injured, no matter how injured you are, you have to move, because your body is designed to move. And when you don't move, you begin to fall apart. Look at everybody around you, people who are overweight. Maybe you are having some medical problems or issues with various things. And a lot of that has to do with lack of physical activity. If you stay active and you move around, you work your muscles, no matter how hard or how light, you're going to get better, you're going to feel better, even if you're sick. The last thing you want to do is lie in bed. The only time you're going to lie in bed is if you absolutely do not have the energy to move. Because we spend so much time in front of the TV, in the car, in front of the desk, on the computer, playing on our phones, just so sedentary. You have to move. And this is for me too. I have to move. And for me to feel good about the way I move, I need to move some heavy ass shit. It's how I get my high off of my body, off of my energy. It's how I get better at things. It's just how my body functions. And you know, you got to find something for you. But a lot of that has to do with using your body and moving. And even though I have this cut, or even though you might have a cut or some sort of obstacle that you're trying to deal with, just work around it. I have a client of mine he trains with me usually 2 days a week, and then he comes in 2 or 3 days on his own. He's very consistent, but when he works days, he's not able to. It just doesn't work for his schedule. It's just hard for him to make it in. So what does he do? He tries to do 300 to 400 push-ups a week. And I commend him on that. He's been very consistent. It keeps him focused. It keeps him healthy. It keeps him moving. So move your ass. Thanks for watching.